हेलो गाइस भाई, आज की जो वीडियो है भाई दैट इज गोना बी रियली इंटरेस्टिंग, नॉट फ्रॉम द जोक्स पर्सपेक्टिव भाई, बट आई थिंक इट विल बी अ रियली ग्रेट कॉन्वर्सेशन भाई दैट प्रॉब्ली तुम्हें अपना दिमाग यूज़ करने पे फोकस करेंगे, यूज़ करे भाई की भाई, बिकॉज आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी आउट ऑफ द
Continuing
बॉक्स.
the intro first, bhai. I am Harshul. This is Samarth.
Yeah, भाई, yeah, let's just do the intro, get done the intro भाई.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we are going to talk about basically philosophical approach about empathy. कि how
भाई
empathy
नॉट
can
ओनली
happen.
एम्पैथी, स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द स्टार्ट, हमने कहाँ से शुरू करा था भाई.
मतलब I just asked him कि who is Friedrich Nietzsche. Bhai?
Yeah.
All those readers who have read his books would know. If you don't, bhai, it's just basically a philosopher who led a very very sad life.
सैड क्यों थी भाई, इसकी क्या हुआ था उसकी लाइफ में यार.
बेसिकली पैदा हुआ, ठीक है, इन उसकी मतलब छोटा भाई हुआ, देन जैसे उसका छोटा भाई हुआ उसका फादर की डेथ हो गई, आफ्टर फादर की डेथ उसके छोटे भाई की डेथ हो गई, फिर एक और उनका मतलब उसकी मम्मी प्रेगनेंट थी उस टाइम पे जब उसके फादर की डेथ हुई थी, एक और बच्चा हुआ उसकी भी डेथ हो गई, देन ही उनकी मतलब वो उसकी मदर थी उसके साथ एक उनकी मतलब सिस्टर कोई कज़न सिस्टर वगैरह रहती थी, वो तीनों मतलब रहते थे. देन स्कूल में ही यूज टू गेट वेरी वेरी बुलीड फॉर एवरीथिंग. फिर स्कूल से उसका मन लगना वो हो गया, बंद हो गया. देन ही वेंट टू कॉलेज. कॉलेज में ही वाज कॉल्ड अ मैड मैन फॉर वट एवर ही हिज थॉट्स वर, अप्रोचेस वर टुवर्ड्स सोसाइटी वगैरह वगैरह, which led him even worse. Then he had a basically crush, yeah, with a girl whom he liked. So they started a philosopher society. इस टाइप का मतलब they used to live in a home. वो लड़की और एक उसका मतलब एक और उनका दोस्त था. तो what happened was this guy and Nisha both liked the girl. But what happened was again heartbreak. When he proposed to her, she was already in love with the other guy, and they both moved out and like घर उनको ही बेचना बेचना whatever जो भी था, like they stopped living together and दोनों की शादी वादी हो गई, which led him even like got to even more rewards. Then he started writing about whatever his thoughts were. Then he started leading a minimalistic life and मतलब ऐसे ही लेटर ऑन लाइफ में जैसे मैं पूरा इंस्टेंसेस ऐसे याद नहीं है टाइम लाइन के साथ, बट लाइक बहुत सारी ऐसे खराब खराब चीज़ें होती रहती थी उसके बाद, विच बेसिकली लेड हिम टू इंसैनिटी, भाई लिटरल इंसैनिटी. ही वाज लाइक फक्ड इन द माइंड कम्प्लीटली. सो बेसिकली इसका एक बहुत फेमस कोट है जिससे मेरी कॉन्वर्सेशन शुरू हुई थी, जो उसकी गॉड इज डेड एंड वी किल्ड हिम. So from we he implies humans. So basically it was what its literal meaning is ki religion does not promote God. God comes from ourselves. But because we follow, you can say, religions blindly, or these set of rules that have been made through these religions, we don't actually follow God. We just follow rules. And that basically leads us to becoming not actual humans, or not actually a species that can think of about like think of their own, but lead us to become just puppets in the bigger regime, you can say.
तो इट्स बेसिकली लाइक कि हम जो गॉड है, ठीक है, जो गॉड हमने बना रखे हैं, वी आर जस्ट लाइक यू नो ब्लाइंडली फॉलोइंग जो भी हमें सिखाया गया है, हमें ब्रेन में फीड कराया गया है, ब्रेन वॉश कराया गया है. बट वॉट वी एक्चुअली हैव टू बिलीव इन वाज जिसमें गॉड बिलीव करते थे, probably that कि
it's not like, but you would never know na what God actually believes in. The thing is he basically said ki the set of morality or the moral code that you have inside yourself is your own experiences. It cannot ever be what religion tells you, because every single person has their own experiences, has their own thoughts, has their own opinions. So if now you think about your own morals and think about your own opinions, and now think how you can be beneficial to the society, that is what makes you a human, or a person who's following God, because God is very subjective. You can't objectivize God. If you follow Bible, so there are multiple things about this ki like matlab a woman is not allowed to speak in like Bible mein there's the quote, I will put this upar yahan pe. And so matlab like if these type of thoughts you start following, then you go down that rabbit hole and you eventually become a person who's just following rules and not God. So what God means here, or what I mean by God, is ki matlab you are a human, you have the superior capability to think for yourself, you can empathize as a species, then why can't you think about how you could make lives of others better? So there's a very famous and controversial paper, like research paper by Peter Singer. It's a very famous guy, मतलब जैसे researcher है. So what he said, उसका paper का conclusion was कि every single person who uses their own resources to live a luxurious life, like uses like bare minimum से जितना भी ज़्यादा पैसा use कर रहा है, he's stealing those resources from the ones who need those resources to survive the bare minimum. So now this bare minimum is what becomes a topic of conversation. So because for a person like middle class लोग हैं, हमारे लिए bare minimum कुछ और होगा. ऐसे एक poor जो lower class का बंदा होगा, उसके लिए bare minimum would be different. So this bare minimum is what it defined as कि मतलब what is the least amount of resources you can use to feed yourself, take care of your family, healthcare and all that. So that is what bare minimum was defined as. But in the capitalistic society that we are living in, the only thing we learn from bare minimum is to want more. You can never not, like, you can literally run out of money and still want more. So that is what basically it preaches. Any thoughts?
But I think these two are different things, no?
Yeah, these two are different things, but this basically comes down to this वही ना कि एक level पे कि मतलब what do you think would make you a better human in society, or what do you do that makes you a better human or a person that actually is beneficial to society?
So when we like if we are having an interaction with someone, and if we are thinking कि our purpose is to make the lives of other people better, our purpose is that. So do we, for example, मैं कोई चीज़ कह रहा हूँ जो तेरे को probably hurt कर सकती है, ठीक है, so I probably don't say that, and मैं कोई ऐसी चीज़ कहूँ you like that or you are not, basically hurt. So that is what I should do then, to make the lives of other people better. मतलब उन्हें कोई suffering नहीं देना या उन्हें कुछ.
Okay, so suffering is a different topic.
Suffering in the sense वो कि I have to make the lives of other people better way. But
so okay,
if I'm not giving you anything to कि जैसे तू hurt हो जाए, I'm probably making your life better ना in sense.
Sure, but the thing is कि you are just, for example, if you know that my girlfriend cheated on me, you're not telling me that because you think कि that would hurt me, that would like devastate me. So you are not telling me that. But the thing is, in the longer run,
if I know that if I को कहीं से पता लग जाता है, that will hurt even more.
That is not even the point. Like if I stay in that relationship for let's say next 10 years and I'm living that in that relationship as a lie, then that becomes worse now.
Sure, but then again I would, ये तो बहुत different चीज़ होगी ना.
अभी मतलब that is what I'm saying. So the thing is कि if you are saying something to that would hurt me is dependent on the context of that topic ना. So for example, if you are saying कि you're a very fat guy, so that is a different type of hurting than you're saying कि your girlfriend cheated on you.
Okay, let's just not talk about this because I think this can go काफी
off
deviation.
Topic, yeah, this is off topic.
Yeah, but I think again if we are talking about God, then of course we are talking about some religion, and I think religion को लेके तेरा take क्या? What is your take on religion?
Religion was basically मेरे हिसाब से a tool of survival for humans to basically make yourselves in a community so that you don't actually basically अगर पहले के times में, but if you go prehistoric times when this religion was actually formed, so if you live alone, you're more likely to die because of lack of resources in the area. Like for example, if you're living in a forest, you don't own a home, so at night you could be mauled by a bear, you could literally be stinged by an insect, and that could have some sort of poison and like kill you. So what if you live in a community, then the roles of humans in a community changes. So what happens is कि you are a group of people. Now you can hunt for animals that are bigger than you. Then you can with that food you can actually eat to the fullest and have like 3 meals a day and all that. Next is ki jaise if you are living with like your wife and all, you have a family. So if we go to the prehistoric times when gender roles were there, so females were taking care of your children. So if for example you don't have any children while you're living alone, so you'll just die without any legacy, you can say, or without actually reproducing.
But मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही यार, तो चीज जो कह रहे हैं, how is religion connected to
so
that?
religion is basically the thing that made them come together, na? You can't you need to have a set of similarities with the other person to actually be communicable with the other person.
Yeah, but
like if we are okay, let's take different example. जैसे अगर मैं कोई पैलेस्टाइन में बॉम्ब होते एरिया में बच्चा है, और एक बच्चा जो यहाँ पे जैसे अभी इंडिया में रह रहा है एंड ही इज फ्रॉम मिडिल क्लास फैमिली और इवन एन अपर क्लास फैमिली, ही हैज ऑल द रिसोर्सेज वगैरह वगैरह, he cannot relate with that person. So if you can't relate with that person, you are more likely to not come like stay together, live together, than when you can relate to that person in any particular way. So for example, if Christianity connects those two people, now they are more likely to live together in a community than if they did not have any type of similar experiences in their lives.
यार बट आई थिंक द थिंग इज कि जो रिलीजन है भाई वो कि एक टाइम पे बना, किसी ने बनाया. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम क्रिश्चियनिटी देख लें, इट्स लाइक जीसस क्राइस्ट के फॉलोअर्स ने फॉलो करा, तो दे स्टार्टेड राइटिंग गुड थिंग्स, एक्शंस जो भी करते थे, एंड पीपल स्टार्टेड जस्ट फॉलोइंग देम भाई. ठीक है. एंड देन ऐसे ही काफी रिलीजन हुआ, हिंदुइज्म में लोगों ने लिखना शुरू करा. ठीक है. चलो एंड दे स्टार्टेड फॉलोइंग दैट ब्लाइंडली, ना कुछ थॉट वगैरह.
ट्रू
है ना. तो यार हाउ डू यू थिंक भाई, मतलब आई डोंट थिंक यार रिलीजन वाज ओनली दिस वे ऑफ सर्वाइवल, वे ऑफ कनेक्टिविटी भाई. I think religion were just basic.
But it is
it's like following someone by blindly. Yeah, if just for example a king.
Religion is basically you can say a synonym or another word for hope. So what does that mean is कि it gives you a light of hope in a world full of sorrows.
But can be a false hope.
Does not matter. Hope is hope. If you live an optimistic life, you have an optimistic approach, you are expecting good from everything. Let's not say good from everything. You are thoda bahut realistic. Still, if you have optimism in you, you would expect thoda bahut goodness to come your way. So now, if you are not living in a religion, ठीक है, and you are just like अगर हम एक community में रह भी रहे, like जैसे prehistoric time में हम एक community में रह रहे हैं, we don't have any hope. We are just normally living together. So the thing happens is कि a lot of people now see the conditions that they are in, because there's, you can say कि when they used to dug wells, sometimes there was no water there. So these type of problems that existed were basically a sign of bad for them. So that made them feel sad, feel sorrow. So they needed something to continue to look for water, for example, or look for food, for example, for next like new days. So that thing that keeps them going is hope basically. कि yes, I'm going to find water tomorrow. Yes, I'm going to you can say, जैसे अगर हम उनकी बात कर रहे हैं जो hunters and gatherers type वाले लोग थे, जो मतलब land to land move करते थे, so yes, I will find a habitable land tomorrow. So if you have that hope, you can still continue. So basically community को togetherness जो आती थी was through this hope. ठीक है. So now the problem comes, where this problem comes in is कि now in a modern society in which we are living in, there is need for hope, but the thing is you are that hope
practicing the old age method.
Yes, मतलब it's not even old age, but like even if there is a new religion that is formed that tells you to follow the newer set of rules, I'm not saying that is good also. I'm saying कि every single person knows or can think about, if they're not ignorant, कि what they are doing is going to in what way going to hurt the other person, or how the other person is going to perceive that. So if I randomly मतलब मैं तो जानता नहीं हूँ, मैं तेरे पास आके तुझे गालियाँ देने लग जाऊँ, what would you feel? You would feel bad. You would feel something like you would feel anger. Negative feelings आएंगी तेरे लिए. You would not feel happy. You would not feel something like अगर मैं तो जाके बोलूँ कि भाई you look very good today, so you would feel proud of yourself, you would feel good,
happy.
Yeah. So that is for example an example of what is optimism or what is hope. So that hope को you can मतलब पहले के times में was formed into a religion because they needed that hope का constant dose because the times were dire. There were no homes, like those homes used to break down easily. There were very very worse conditions to live in. There was no health care. There was nothing.
Yeah, that is true, bhai. But then I think, what I think religion is, bhai. I think religion is just following someone blindly, bhai. Something blindly, bhai. And it's like they again, if you take the just like for example, Hinduism is or that matter, bhai. If we compare it to a king, bhai, कि king की एक जनता है, भाई ये प्रजा है, भाई ठीक है, and then भाई पानी नहीं है bottle में.
Sad life.
So he needs religion now. He
Yeah.
पानी मिल जाएगा इससे. But again, I think why if you follow a king blindly, why you follow what he says, you follow what he does, you follow what they believe in, भाई ठीक है. अगर वो कह रहा है फॉर एग्जाम्पल ये ऐसा घर बनाना बुरी बात है, यू वोंट मेक दैट घर, भाई ऐसा टाइप का, ठीक है. एंड फिर अगर ये तो अपनी जनरेशन को बताता है आगे जाकर कि ऐसा घर नहीं बनाना है, that is a bad thing, ठीक है. then that is a hoax. Then that वो बंद जनरेशन में नहीं बनाती, जनरेशन जब तक क्वेश्चन नहीं करती क्या है, तब तक आई थिंक वो घर कभी ऐसा नहीं बनता जैसा बना ओरिजिनल से बनाना था, ठीक है. एंड दैट इज आई थिंक व्हाट रिलीजन इज, भाई इफ यू फॉलो फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोई भी इंसान को ले ले, इफ यू मेक देम ऑल माइटी, पीपल कंसिडर देम ऑल माइटी, एंड जो बातें बोल रहे हैं जिस पीपल जस्ट फॉलो दैट, जो कि अभी भी दिखता है भाई इन सम वेज. भाई वी टेक पॉलिटिशियंस, भाई जो पॉलिटिशियंस जो कहते हैं लोग फॉलो, मतलब द गरीब फॉलो देम ब्लाइंडली बिकॉज दे डोंट क्वेश्चन थिंग्स, भाई कि है ना. तो इफ यू जस्ट फॉलो समथिंग ब्लाइंडली, भाई दैट इज, एंड यू फॉलो दोज rules and beliefs of different people, by and you don't ever question them, by that is religion, by I think, by it's like
that is not religion, that is ignorance,
by but the, doesn't
Ignorance
religion teach you that way?
Ignorance is common in religions, that is true, but every single religion is not going to be ignorant, or every single religion is not going to preach for ignorance.
नहीं, बट वो तो बोलेंगे ना कि फॉलो व्हाट द रिलीजन
देयर आर सर्टेन, जैसे ट्राइबल रिलीजन के बारे में पढ़ा था. इट वाज बेसिकली कि इट इज नॉट अ book of rules that you have to follow. It is basically कि there are three things that you have to follow in life. One is your like family, you have to be family oriented. Two is that you have to always think about how you can do better in life. Three is how can you do good for society. So that is a type of religion. That is no hard set rules.
Yeah.
This is a advice, you can say. That is not a religion. So now,
but my own religion, I'm just taking Hinduism for example.
So that is fair. So yes, it is common in religions to have ignorance. That is the problem. That is the problem with religions, ना कि they are ignorant towards everything else that happens. So like for example, अगर जैसे मतलब हम इस्लाम का एग्जांपल लें, तो इस्लाम में it is said कि if like a female is moving, like घर से बाहर जा रहे हैं, तो they have to wear a
burqa,
hijab.
Yeah, hijab.
Yes. So because like so as to there is no temptation among men to grope her or go to her and whatever. So basically that is a ignorant thing. Why can't the male species control themselves? That is what it becomes in that case. True. So there is ignorance in every single religion. I'm not saying that they are not ignorant, but they do not preach ignorance.
नहीं, मैं वो नहीं, आई थिंक क्या आई थिंक रिलीजन इस पॉइंट पर आकर अलग है जिस पॉइंट पे पहले था वो. आई थिंक पीपल नाउ फॉलो इट ब्लाइंडली. आई डोंट क्वेश्चन द रिलीजन. आई थिंक जो लोग क्वेश्चन करते हैं, आई थिंक जस्ट the believers
they did not like question it completely. That was the problem. Ki what Friedrich Nietzsche did was question the religion. They
basically उसको मैडम बना दिया.
Yeah, he basically became
ऐसा अभी भी होता है.
True.
If you follow,
yes. So for example, if you are an atheist, for example, and you're agnostic, for example, then you follow a particular religion, or talk to a person who's following a particular religion, जैसे जिनको कट्टर हिंदूज वगैरह बोलते हैं, तो उनसे कभी बात करोगे, so you'll know कि they are so ignorant towards the things that their own religion does, just so as to in the name of religion. जैसे जो दंगे वंगे होते हैं, wars वगैरह होती हैं, जैसे हिंदू versus Muslim and all that. That is not actually like a war on religions. That is a war between politics. That is something that politicians do. That is basically keep you like there's a very famous quote ki keep the crowd or people busy with wars, or with the like give the people bread and give the people entertainment, and they will not question you ever. That is true. It's a very famous quote. I have to say George Orwell का quote है, 1984 से है वाली book से I think, but I don't remember the quote exactly. But हाँ, it is what.
Yeah, I think it's a nice thing, भाई. I think, and a nice thing is like what the quote says, भाई. कि भाई if you just भाई for example मतलब उससे relate कर सकता है. अगर अब तुम एक गरीब को, ठीक है, who needs money, money के पीछे, ठीक है, just give him constant supply of money, भाई, कि चल ठीक है तू कुछ काम ना कर, मैं तेरे को हर महीने आकर 5,000 10,000 रुपये पकड़ा दिया करूँगा, और उसके लिए वो काफ़ी है फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ठीक है, जितने भी उसको मैं चाहिए, एंड ही डज दैट. फिर उसके बाद मान ले मैं जो उस चीज़ क्या फॉर एग्जाम्पल उसके बाद तो इग्नोरेंट हो जाएगा ना, यू विल नॉट क्वेश्चन एनीथिंग, ये पैसा कहाँ से आ रहा है, क्या इज इट बेनिफिटिंग समवन एल्स और नॉट. उसके लिए तो भाई इट्स लाइक आई डोंट नो ये रिलेटेड है नहीं, जस्ट थॉट कि मतलब at some point भाई it's
What is the crux of
it's easier to make people not believe या question something भाई when you provide them what they want भाई, ठीक है.
Fair. So that is what politicians do.
Yeah, I think
that is basically like you give them bread and they will not ask for it.
Yeah, they should भाई, I think. And yeah, I think it's important by to question things like, क्योंकि अगर देखो for example जैसे वो बहुत ही छोटी चीज़ है, लेकिन आई थिंक सबके साथ ऑलमोस्ट सबके साथ होती है कि अगर तुमने मम्मी पापा को बोलो कि ट्यूसडे को मैं चिकन क्यों नहीं खा सकता, ठीक है, एंड दिस कि भगवान का दिन है, हनुमान जी का दिन है वगैरह, बट हनुमान जी का दिन का तो हर एक दिन है, हनुमान सॉरी बोल रहा हूँ, भगवान जी का तो हर एक दिन है, भगवान जी तो नहीं कह रहे होते मतलब कि आने और मारो भी, ठीक है, लेकिन हम फिर भी दिन खा रहे हैं. सो व्हाई ट्यूसडे? They don't have any answer for that question. It's like कि तुमको लगेगा कि ये आर्ग्यू क्यों कर रहे हो तुमसे ऐसा कुछ, it has no backbone to it भाई, nothing. लेकिन अगर तुम करो इस लाइक कि भाई हमारे घर में फॉलो होता था पहले से, तुम भी कर लो, तुम जब बड़े हो गए तब मत करना, इट्स लाइक सिंपल से ऐसे से तुम्हें आंसर मिलता है. दिस इज हाउ कि इट्स लाइक पीपल अगर तुमसे कुछ क्वेश्चन करो जिनको वो बहुत ज़्यादा बिलीव करते हैं, दे वो हक्के पक्के रह जाते हैं कि भाई इसका आंसर क्या दूँ मैं, आई डोंट हैव ब्लाइंडली बिलीव करना बेसिकली. They don't have any reason explanation for that.
Basically this is an exercise that you should do or everyone should do. Is कि भाई ask yourself कि what biases do you have as a person. This is basically a bias. So मतलब if you think about it, जैसे why, for example, if a person says something, why do I certainly feel X way about that person? So if a person says कि I like Modi government, so why do I feel uncertain about this person's beliefs, or why do I feel that this person is dumb? So that is like a bias inside of you. So that is what I'm saying. This is an example. Where Modi government don't cancel this way. That is just an example. But so if you look for biases in yourself, then you can actually question those biases, and then you can actually get to the feeling of what we call free thinking, which is like thinking without past, like using your past experiences or whatever has been passed down to you, just using that to give an answer for anything that is being asked to you. You have to question yourself like thousands of times to know okay, what you are actually thinking is based on.
That is true, man. I think करना चाहिए, बट मेक यू सेल्फ अवेयर भाई कि क्योंकि जिस चीज़ों में तुम एक्चुअली बिलीव कर रहे हो, जो सोच रहे हो, आर दे समथिंग दैट यू एक्चुअली बिलीव इन, और इट्स लाइक समथिंग दैट इज बीन फेड टू योर ब्रेन, वॉश करा देगा तुम्हें कि ऐसा नहीं करना भाई. बिकॉज आई थिंक फॉर लेट्स जस्ट टेक ट्यूसडे वाली बात, अगर तुम कभी आई एम श्योर पहले कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं करता है, पहले लाइक सब कहते हैं कि भाई भगवान का दिन है तो नहीं खाएंगे, हम नहीं खाएंगे ट्यूसडे को, नहीं खाएंगे, एंड नो बडी क्वेश्चन दैट, नो चाइल्ड क्वेश्चन दैट भी, ठीक है. एंड आफ्टर दैट भाई जब तुम बड़े होते हो एंड आज तुम्हारी जनरल क्यूरियोसिटी आती है कि यार मैं हर एक दिन खा रहा हूँ लेकिन ट्यूसडे क्यों नहीं खा रहा, ठीक है. देन यू एक्चुअली स्टार्ट टू लाइक यू नो ऐसे करके यार लाइक टू क्वेश्चन योर बिलीव्स भाई कि क्या मैं सोच रहा हूँ, इज दैट हिपोक्रेटिकल, इज लाइक कि क्या ये चीज़ हिपोक्रेटिक है, या फिर इस लाइक कि ये चीज़ तो मैं कभी सोचता ही नहीं हूँ, या फिर आई थिंक ये इसका कोई बेस नहीं है, इट्स वेरी सेंसलेस है, बेसलेस थिंग है बेसिकली. इट्स लाइक कि क्या मैं चीज़ को सिर्फ ब्लाइंडली जो मेरे को पता है कि मैं उसको फॉलो कर रहा हूँ, मैं नहीं कर रहा. सो आई थिंक दैट जस्ट मेक यू सेल्फ अवेयर अबाउट योर सेल्फ बाई योर ओन डिसीजंस, योर ओन थिंकिंग भाई.
Fair.
Yeah. And I think
that is what we call critical thinking.
Yeah, भाई. I think it's important भाई because to understand yourself भाई कि जो तुम चीज़ें सोच रहे हो are they actually your thoughts भाई, and it makes you actually live a happier life I think. not a happy life is like you make
less
yourself
ignorant life.
less ignorant life, and also it's like you are more aware about yourself. Again, awareness. We see that is what we need at this day, at this point of time, because yeah. And I think that's a good note to leave the video on. Yeah, I think a good talk, very serious talk, no jokes, yeah, no gay jokes, but I think it's a nice conversation that we had, and I hope you also had some opinions to give, if someone's watching this. Comments at least comment or yeah. And I guess we'll meet you in the another video,
Yeah.
Sayonara.
Bye.
Shing shang.